Hi, welcome back. Um, I'm getting so brave, you guys. I'm not going to spend the first 10 minutes talking about how nervous I am. Excited to hear that, right? Uh, Listen, today's message is going to be really cool, and you're going to want to listen. And I'm asking you, please, with all of my heart. I'm doing my very best to share some information that is, the words are even hard to say out of my mouth, even though I know that they're true. Because all around us in this world, we get used to seeing lies. And it's even like I live in a very happy, vibrant atmosphere 99% of the time. But still, when I start these videos, I can feel the influx of what would be fear or what I've been conquering. But anyway, I was listening to what song? No Woman, No Cry. And he said, my fear is my only courage. And I that definitely resonated with me because though I don't walk around fearful of man or anything like that, like coming and doing these videos, it made me fearful at first because I know if I heard someone saying the things that I'm saying that I might question, them a little bit. But if I found them to be sincere and honest and like I am, I would see and feel their truth. So, like I said in my intro, I hope you feel what I'm putting down because it's the honest truth. And I don't come here to wear big hats and fancy clothes, though I do wear hats. um, like I said, I'm not coming here to be anybody else besides me, you guys. And these experiences are very deep and very, very important to the world. Our world has been misled about who our creator is and how he came to be and how this so-called worship is to be done and so forth. Um, but that message is not my message. So I'm going to get into my message. uh, I do want to say that I understand that it's hard to, wrap your mind around what I'm saying. But it's like in Purple Rain when he says, "I think you better close it." You say you want a leader, but you can't seem to make up your mind. I think you better close it. And the reason he says you better close it is not because we should all be walking around with closed minds, but because close it to what you've been subject to in the world. Close it to what the teachings have been and actually open it to what the truth is. So, and let me guide you to the purple rain. Feel me? Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to start right out with something that I wrote when I started to remember my life after life experience. And that's what I'm going to call it. I'm not going to call it life after death because I've come to, I think, understand that I wasn't really dead. I was just in heaven as an alive soul, or as live as I could be, while my body was on the floor overdosing. But anyway, this is one of the things I wrote, and I am going to share some things that I wrote that are very, very important. And then I'm going to share some really important knowledge about, like I said, the Revelations and Genesis passages, and all of it relates to Prince. So, and how he taught me that he's the creator. So here's something I wrote. I hope you enjoy it. I can't memorize these things, so all I can do is to read them. But I hope that maybe my words resonate with people. And since everybody's at home, on their computers, I hope that maybe eventually the videos will pass around and, be like being read a book, maybe, but a true book, our real history instead of the one we've been sold. So this is my memory of him. And it said, upon entering the next room, there was no doubt that it was him. He sat in a throne chair, projecting his 2010 Prince image. There he sat, shiny, looking oh so sexy. He sizing me up with a side eye. He looked very serious, sad, irritated, yet unflustered. There seemed quite a lot of tension in the room. Notice I didn't say air because there was none. Air. I recall feeling ashamed to be there, meeting my greatest love under those conditions, but mostly just captivated. When I saw him this way, I knew that we had met before. I felt this rush like a magnet that is being pushed and pulled but unable to move. I'm fairly certain some angels were there protecting him by the throne chair. I may have asked if I could hug him. I'm pretty sure I did. Being unable to control the magnetizing feeling, I took a baby step forward, but the protectors weren't having it. This part is hard to remember, but I think he was very displeased with me. I could feel it. When he rose from the chair morphed with him, as him. As he moved across the room, the chair morphed into like a tail, like a dragon tail that would follow him around, and his shape changed as well. He had a huge white aura surrounding him that was part of him. He showed himself as a sort of a white being, very, very old, as well as a serpent dragon type with wings. It's him, the ancient one. Something transpired. I cried, and the protectors left for a while. I don't recall all that transpired or everything that was said, but after the angels left, he morphed again to look as Prince and told me that the world as we know it is, was, and has come to pass in like a time tunnel sort of way. The worlds that, oh, excuse me, that there is an order, a timeline to absolutely everything. The worlds that he created were run on a clockwork system of things, as I recall, maybe similar to the innards of a grandfather clock. Everything precise, layers. There's many different layers, many worlds of layers. As he got older, he had to assign watchers and trust them to balance things. They did not, the timekeepers. The balance he created was thrown off by their greed and desire to know things as the creator. See, the timekeepers, the stories told, the Lucifer angels and this and that. The timekeepers, they wanted to know things as the creator. They wanted to experience his glory. They want to be him. Everybody loves P, and so anyway, these timekeepers, they want to be him. So thereby creating an imbalance. The design system to overthrow was devised. So that was just a brief thing that I wrote, because I've been getting some questions about, well, I understand your videos, but I don't understand how Prince can be the creator. But he is, you guys. It's just the way that the world has been sold to like focus on, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. They're like, yes, there was a God, and then he had this son, and then the son is the one that took all these burdens and all these things. So focus on him, pray in his name, do these things in his name, focus on man, go to this building, focus on this other man with the collar, focus on the pastor, focus on this, focus on that. But they never tell you to focus on your soul and the creator. And that's all I ever did, was I looked for that connection with the creator, because I knew that I wasn't ever going to get that from anybody else. Like, I don't mean to insult anybody. I really don't. I don't understand how people let another man or woman take responsibility for their soul. Like, I understand that they go to church and read your Bible, and that's, because you want to know things and you want to learn, and that's respectful. That's what people do. That's what we were taught to do. However, there's a reason that we were all taught to do that, because we were taught the wrong thing. Okay. So, off track for a minute, but, again, with the questions about how he can be the creator, you guys, is because like a lot of people, because the Bible and the way it is in the world is, sold to focus on Jesus. And they say, take, your mind off and read the New Testament and don't read the Old Testament because it's too deep, and, cut your baby teeth first before the meat and potatoes. We've all heard it, but that's because they want to regurgitate the same story. And yet our world just has fallen further and further and lower with that regurgitating of the same story. So, on that note, I'm trying to let you guys know by way of these letters and by way of some really deep stuff that I want to share with you. And if you have a pad of paper and a pen, please grab it, because these things I say, you'll want to write down or rewind. I don't know. I mentioned before, as I looked for God through my life, I went to all the various churches, the Kingdom Hall, the Catholic, every single kind of church there was, I went to. And the only time I ever found him was when I started to study the Kabbalah, the mystic study of the more, what was called a mystical study. People say mystical, but really it's because they don't know about their own soul. So that's really all mystical means to me. So that's how, when you watch other videos, all the Hebrew letters and they relate, because that's how Prince was and I'm going to use that name for the sake of the conversation, was teaching me and has been teaching me, because he was the creator and and that's why I can understand all this stuff, because you guys, you know that song Soul Sanctuary, My Soul Sanctuary? He told me, and I'm starting to remember, and it's really, really intense. And I told you today's conversation would be that way, but I have to tell the truth because it frees me and it frees him. And the more we can free him and each other, we can all be free. And what was he always singing about? Free yourself. Yeah, free your mind, and the rest will follow. That was en vogue, but still. Every artist out there, every singer has asked us to free our minds, because we're trapped in this digital haze, this awful bubble that we're in. And I totally forgot what I was saying, which is nothing new. But as I was looking, you guys, like I said, I called on the wrong names. I say things wrong. You know, I'm just not afraid to make mistakes and then try to keep learning. You know, I'm not here to be like, hey, I know this and I'm this and I'm that. I'm here to tell you what I know because it's super duper important. So grab your pen and pencil. You know what I mean. What I wanted to say, you guys, is that how can you be the creator? Well, most people, they probably picture, I don't know, like before I knew, what did I picture as God? I kind of did picture you know, you look at the Da Vinci painting and the finger and the guy going, and you know, people picture like an old dude, sort of, you know, like a maker that may be shapeless or something like that. That's what I pictured, sort of. I mean, I knew that the creator must have like a man shape because we were created as image. So, you know, that's what I pictured, and that's what most people probably picture, I would think, in America anyway. But you have to understand that he is that. He has the man appearance. However, as in the book of Ezekiel, like he has these other appearances too, which is why I started with that way that I wrote down what I saw when I was there. Because he is the creator, he takes on all shapes. It's like that. If you guys go and you look up, I don't know what album it is. It's the one where he's like on a Pegasus, or is the Pegasus on the back of the album. If you look closely, I'm a little off subject here, but on the shape thing, it's like if you look closely at the foot that's hanging down on the Pegasus on the album, you can see that it's actually not like a foot. It's more like a flipper type shape, because he can like morph, you know. And so, um, anyway, all the shapes that I was shown, it's like the centaur man, like it can have, you know, half body, half that, because the creator, as he created of his essence. And if his essence was and is everything, including the stars and everything, then you can imagine that the shapes and the things that he takes on sometimes can look quite different. I'm sure I haven't seen even close to all of them. There's a lot of eyes too. I can tell you that there's a lot of eyes around. I'm going to share with you guys some things that I drew too, if I get brave. But listen, I want to get on the stuff about the religion. So I've mentioned this before, you guys, and I'm going to try to stay on task. In ancient days, ancient man, like our human being mans that were created, they actually went to the places like Göbekli Tepe and those other places that they've tried to bury and get rid of, and they worshipped the sky people, okay, way back a long time ago. And they made them like what we refer to biblically as angels. And these people that lived, Noah and his family and Adam, for 930 years, and this and that, people can believe that, but you can't believe that they live in another parallel heavenly type universe, or you know, that some might live in hell or eventually will. I gotta turn this heat down just 1 second. Sorry, it was hot. I'm grateful for it. So when I say free your mind, you know, close your mind and then open it to what I'm saying, because I'm going to prove it to you too. That's the cool thing, because he told me, and we're going to do this together, okay, you guys, because it's going to change the world. Just got to hang in with my rambling. So they made the religion because when they were worshiping the sky people, the creator, as that sky person, took himself away. He took himself away. He hid himself, okay, and thereby took away his power, okay? So then man had to make up another way to control people, so how else are you going to do that but by fear and by, teaching them about their soul and what they should and shouldn't do, and then change the original word. Fear tactics, you guys, we all know it's true. Now, I'm trying to bring you closer to Creator. I'm not trying to separate you from him. So please don't use those blasphemous, she's this, she's that, because I'm not. I'm telling you the truth. And I'm sorry if it hurts or it sounds insulting. I always want to say that because I truly am. All of this takes setting the ego aside. Trust and believe. Anyway, you guys, listen, I have to turn and see it. So write this down, please. Genesis 8:13. Okay. Again, I don't quote scripture, and I'm going to say it says kind of like this. It talks about how when the ark landed, it landed on the 601st year. Okay. Write that down. 601st year, 601. The first month and the first of the month. So we have a 6 and a 1 and a 1. Okay. Please stick with me, because you can always subtract the zeros in the gematria. So the 601st year, the first of the month, the first month, the first of the month, 611. And that's what it says back there on the board. And I know you can't see it, and I'm sorry. So what am I getting at? Because I spoke before about the 911 and the 6-1 Sabbath day rest, because, well, that's why you have to watch the other videos, because I don't want to confuse what I'm saying. It'll come together, trust me. In Genesis 8:13, they talk about how the ark landed and the world was dry. But before that, they talk about how they let out a raven, and then they let out a dove. And what did Prince always say? He was a dove. Anyway, so the landing, the numerology that I'm talking about, it speaks of what is going to end up being 911, or in upside down gematria, like 6-1. It's the 6 days of creation with the 1 for the Sabbath day rest. That's what that relates to. Okay. So I won't repeat it. Now, beside that, I have written down Revelation 13:18. Okay. Because that's the opposite of Genesis 8:13. In 13:18, it talks about the number of the beast and what everybody knows to be 3 6s. Okay. So what I want to point out to you is that it was told to me, how the band was called Prince and the Revolution. It's called that because he was trying to bring our attention to this right here. And I'll prove that to you too, because that's what he told me to tell you. Genesis 8:13, let me jump back over there. 8 plus 13 equal 21. You guys know how we're always talking about the number 21, okay? Also, over here on Revelations 13:18, you have 18 plus 3, which is 21 also. And then if you add the extra 1, it becomes 22, which again refers back to the one more card, and it's 22, okay? Now, what I have written down the middle is in the Hebrew teachings, the years that were set forth for like creation were 6,000 years, to the best of my understanding. And as I mentioned before, Yom Kippur was celebrated not that long ago, and it went from the year 5781, which equals 21, to 5782, which equals 22. Just like the Revelation and the Genesis totals 21 to 22 that I just explained. So it's like an opening and a closing, if you will. Think of a baseball game or book or however you want to open and close. You've got Genesis 8:13 and Revelation 13:18 on the other side. So they actually mirror each other when you abbreviate them, and they equal 21 and 22, same as the Hebrew New Year Yom Kippur that just passed. Now, also, you guys, 18 times 3. The math breaks down in such a way, and I know you might not be interested so much in math, but the math is the other side of the letters. It's how they broke down Hebrew to Greek and then to English. Like in the song Revelation, he talks about Cassius bells through English, Greek, and Hebrew, English, Greek, and spells and stuff like that. And I can never remember lyrics, so I'll just stop trying. Anyway, you guys, what these numbers give us is they continually give us 19, which we have found ourselves in blankety blank 19 in the middle of this pandemic, right? Then we have that we're in the year 2021. So you have 19, 20, 21. We're in the year 21. Both of these equal 21 and 22 and the years of the Hebrew years and the times for creation. So 5781, or excuse me, 6,000 minus 5781 is also 19. It gives us 19. My point is this, after that mind-boggling math, I apologize, it happens, is that the 19 is an upside down to the 16 or 61, pardon me, which is the 6 days of creation, which would be the next 1,000 years of rest. And I mentioned before, and this is very serious, that the timekeepers I mentioned before, they are trying to do something and tweak time in such a way with the Hebrew alphabet and the rules of time and the way that things were set forth that would ping pong us back and forth in some kind of time trap. Okay, so that's why the number 21 is so important. That's why they do blackjack, because technically it's a 9. It can be a 9, 10, and an 11 that equal 21. So within the 19 itself, in gematria, it itself equals a 9, 10, and an 11, which equals 21 in several different ways. You math freaks will follow me. I didn't start doing this until the last year because he tells me to do this. It's like nobody, I don't think in a rational mind thinks that way. I know that I didn't. I tried to put some things together before in my life, and it's really been interesting and fun. Like I said, I seek really hard. So anyway, there's that, you guys know. Also, what is also equaling 21 is what I mentioned previously, and that is the year 1776 that we were sold as our freedom. Okay, now we are 245 years away from that, which is 10.9 generations, which is also 19. So on New Year's Eve, we would be turning 22 also. So we would be going from 2021 to 2022. Okay. And our empire of the United States of America, which was sold on the Declaration of Independence, would be expiring. And there have been certain plans made and exposed to me, which I'll touch on possibly later. It's very difficult to say. I'll try to get there. So 1776 equals 21, and then 1777 would be the new year on New Year's Eve per se. So even though it would be 2022 in upside down writing, that equals 1777, which equals 22. Okay. As I say a million times, one more card and it's 22. Money don't matter tonight. That song, you guys, you starting to get it yet? It's a big deal. And I'm trying to break it down for you the best way that I can. I need to grab something for you to look at. And I'm very sorry. I have to run away for 2 seconds. I have to show you this stuff because it's too hard to, you guys, I know, I don't know if you look at this stuff and think, what is she doing? Or you think it's awesome or whatever, but it is what I do. And I'm so grateful to be able to do it and to bring it to you because I know how much it's going to help. Basically, you don't have to worry about too much of what that just says. Is I wanted to show you up close how the Sabbath rest there in the middle is the 6-1. Maybe if you can see it with your own eyes. 6 days of creation, 1 day of rest. Now, opposite of that, this is a 6/1. Okay. Then that equals, this is a 9/1, which then in turn starts to look like a 911. Okay. Which equals, sorry, I can't see. Oh, that's how I was explaining 9, 10, or 11. So The 911, it can be 9, and then 9 plus 1 is 10, and then 9 plus 2 is 11. So 911 can be 911, 61, or 21, because 9 plus 10 is 19, 20, 21, or you can do it the other way, as in blackjack, which equals 21. Now, when you turn 21 upside down, you guys, and this is really important, you turn 21 upside down, it actually is the pi equation. You see right here? So that's 21. So that's where they get the word pi equals 314. Okay, so when I have to find my groove here. Okay, so 21, the pi equation, I put pi, and I know that we're used to looking at it as PIE, but you have to know that the dot is actually taking the place of the E, and that's the way it works. So pi upside down is what? 19. Okay, again. Now also pi, or 21, is also, think of this as a lowercase a and an I, or a capital AI, artificial intelligence, right? Okay. So then AI in small, now the way the gematria works, you guys, you could say, oh, she's just making it fit, but no, the capitals and the smalls, they break down to different strokes. So pi, which I explained the other day, equals 314, starts to break down and not only spell my name, Elizabeth Pride, the Pride Piper, and many other things, Prince. It also spells opioid, which is also 9, 10, and 11. The word opioid, within the word, there's numerically 9, 10, 11, which is also 21, which we just discussed. Now, the other day, you guys, I told you that there's no C or I that I know of. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. There's no C or I in the Hebrew alphabet, the way I understand it. So if you take this word that you see here and you cross out the C and the I, you're stuck with D, and I know you guys have to trust and believe, D, N, upside down A, DNA 19, okay? And then also, it also spells out David 919 911, okay? Over here, if I haven't got your attention yet, 1914 was when World War I was. If you add 1914 and 1776, which is the Declaration of Independence of the United States of America, you get 3690. Always we drop the zero, and then we would get the 369 pi equation. Okay, it's just written a little bit different there. It also spells opioid, the pi. It always is the same. But anyway, it equals 369. Okay. 3,690 minus 2,021. That's what that says. I don't know how you guys see it, if you see it the right way. I think you do. I should know this by now. Add World War I, Declaration of Independence, you get 3690. When you subtract 2021 from 3690, you get 1669, which is 1999 in upside down backwards writing, or egg, okay, or 666, okay. Trust me, this girl, Elizabeth, the Pride Piper, she's pretty doggone smart. I try to be scholarly and academic and all. But mostly I just have this big, fat, giant heart that I've been walking around with my entire life. And man, I'm trying to give it to you guys because I always feel like if I can come here and prove to you how within the mathematical equation of pi, the life equation that we've all been sold includes the plans for World War I, World War II, well then, golly, what I've also heard is that if, God forbid, there should be something coming that I have heard, I'm not saying like when or whatever, you guys, but this is really important because it's hard to say. When I first started hearing these things, I have writings all over the place that point to World War III with Asia. And I think, if I remember correctly, The reason would be is because the Americas are broke, and Asia is, I don't know, you guys, in a very ugly world to come, I guess, gonna maybe like try to like, I don't know, there would be the Magog Gog war. That's the I am war. It's the AI war. But I've been hearing since the beginning that it was going to be with Asia. And it worries me also because the other things that I heard, and I don't talk about too much, but I have to start to get braver, more brave, is that when I went to Maui, and you guys should know that probably not, I'm watching the other videos that talk about it all the time. The other thing about the 1-6 and the 6-1 and the 911 is Maui's area code is 808, which equals 1-6. Backwards is 6-1. Okay. I think I've touched lightly on Maui before, but not too much. So I'm not going to run off too deeply on that right now. But I did want to say that for anybody who's familiar with Maui, it's sold in the media as being just this super powerful place, all of Hawaii, all of this, all of that, but especially like Maui and where I was at Wailea Beach. It has power. It's so powerful, they say, that there's all this energy and stuff there. But also, what everybody might not know is they don't let you take sand or shells or anything off the islands. But it's not because of that. Moreover, it's because they're naval bases out there. I don't know if you guys know that, but I didn't know that prior to my vacation. They have a place out there called the Road to Hana. That's what they sell it as. It goes around that island of Maui. And the point is that the creator's name is love. Ahava is one of the names, is love. And so Ahava means Hana. It spells out Hana with the 808 area code. I mentioned in some of my other videos that what's been exposed to me is that, as in the movie Life of Pi, that the creator himself, because he created, like people don't think enough, I don't think about the word creation. This is a creation. If you think about your life as being in a snow globe and everything around you has been created for you by him to bring you joy and pleasure, and people have just been too distracted. But anyway, it's a creation. So I totally forgot what I was saying. But by being that creator, it's what was been sold to us as, is it or is it not AI technology? Is it or is it not? Pardon, I always itch my nose when I'm down here. And that is the big secret, is that because we're broke in the United States, and you know how the things go on. I don't want to get too much on that because I don't really do politics. I just have to say what I remember. It worries me, you guys. I hear things all the time, but I don't really ever know if they're all going to be true. But I've been being led to say what I hear. And I made some videos earlier this summer about the port, the Costco harbor out in LA where the Queen Mary is docked. I saw some weird things and some visions, and it was exposed to me about aliens, like possibly being kept out there or something like that. And I know this is off subject, but it concerns me, all the shipping containers that are being put out there, and they're saying that everybody's Christmas decorations and this and that, and they're just stacking up all over the place. And then today I saw in the media that they're talking about using those shipping containers to build a wall in Texas. Now, if that doesn't sound like Trojan horse activity to you, I don't know what does. I'm not saying if it is or isn't, but it's making me really uncomfortable in my body to think that people have gotten so fearful that they're willing to accept the fact that people have just ordered so much under this crisis that now all of a sudden all these shipping containers are propped up out in the harbors. It's weird. Okay. It's weird. And I'm going to leave that there. But previously I had heard that they were going to pull off some holographs and holograms out there in the way of the Antichrist situation. I don't know what they need or how they're going to set that up, but that's just off the subject for now. But he told me to tell you guys these things because not to scare you, but to bring you peace and joy, because The false teachers that are out there, that's why the Bible preaches against how much they're going to have to pay, because they are false teachers. I'm not saying every family church or every sister, brother, pastor. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the whole conglomeration behind the conglomeration, the NWO, the Kingdom Hall, the ones that use the name of our Creator in vain, the Vatican, all of the major real legions, the KKK, the NWO, they want a master race. They don't want us loving ourselves and our Creator and our shiny DNA. They want us worshiping them. They want our money. They want our thoughts. They want our children. They want our energy. What does that have to do with Hawaii, Maui? Well, when you come to find out how many tourists with 89 flowers on their back, the inventors of the AccuJack, they take that energy out there, and the tourists that are in Maui, they're not going to be there for more than a couple of weeks. So guess what? They're not going to notice what's real and what's fake. They're not going to notice the holograms until they go back and look at their pictures. This is a different story, but I'm going to do a video just on holograms and all the things that I saw in Maui. I have the one video posted where you can see the spirit moving across the sidewalk. The Creator told me that was him following me around. For real, I'm not even kidding. But you guys, as you can probably tell, I'm getting more confident. It's because it's a joy, because when I tell the truth, I get more and more truth, and it makes me happy. Even though I have scary things to say, the overall message is how comfortable you get to be when you recognize this truth and you start to talk to your Creator and to acknowledge that your DNA came from a divine place, that the society that we find ourselves in is trying to tear us down based on all the documentation that I'm showing you and all the Hebrew gematria and all the different things that I'm trying to provide for you. He is providing for us, because you guys, this is the other thing. The reason why the story, the investigation around 421 is such a mystery, as I mentioned before, is because he wanted us to look into it. He told me in my life after life experience that he knew what was coming. Obviously, he's the Creator, but he had to. He gave, like I mentioned before, his intellect, his intellectual power by way of contract to the timekeepers in such a way that it's only for a limited time only. But again, that's why they're trying to run askew with that time by playing these tricks. Well, he saw into those tricks because he has that crystal ball, the all-knowing eye. And he saw what they were going to do. So this is the deal, you guys. This is why the mystery and the investigation is so shrouded in mystery. And I think why there are so many investigation websites and stuff out there is to draw attention to it first and foremost, because then it's so important, so that people would look into it, because, who was Prince Rogers Nelson if he wasn't the man of mystery? But this is the real more serious part. He knew that they had a plan to come and kill him in a way and take that intellectual property by way of force. So I have two hypotheses right now that I don't know which one is actually true, but my point is he knew, because I can hear things, you guys, but sometimes I don't know if they're like true or not. So I hesitate to say them. Just because I hear them doesn't make them true. So I have to wait for that confirmation in a way. And I'm probably still wrong sometimes. But anyway, on 421, you guys, as I mentioned before, and I think some of my other videos, they use that theater in Eden Prairie or wherever it was to have meetings. It's a business meeting theater, the kind you can kick back and be served drinks and do this and do that. They made meetings. This whole thing was planned. The date of 4/21/2016 in Gematria relates to 666. He knew there was going to be a plan coming for him, so I believe he either made a way to disappear and or took the fentanyl himself because he knew what they had planned. So those are the two things that I'm kind of tossing around, just so you know. But all the other stuff, you guys, is just media hype. I mean, it's still worth looking into. We still need to find the answer to that. But moreover, I'm going to try to start leading you guys down this other path so that you can understand. Like, I'll tell you the things that are up in the media and with the investigation, but it's like, well, it's like how they do the false flags, it's like, look over here, look over here, look over here, and then I'm going to hit you with my left hand. You know what I mean? It's that same kind of thing. It's while you're looking at the file and being confused by the file and trying to figure out was or wasn't or this or that, they had a lot of covering up to do. If they got there and there was nobody there, no corpus, or if the one they were looking for had, been helped with almost 70 milligrams of fentanyl or whatever it was. It's not what the media has been sold, and this video isn't about the investigation. I wasn't supposed to touch on that. I want to share with you guys a couple more things that I remember, and that is about Maui. When you go and you look at a map of Maui, it's like an upside down. I'll show you. I just didn't plan on doing that. This is Maui. Okay, you see how it's shaped like a bust of a man? If you're not familiar. Okay, head facing forward, like the Beethoven bust, right? Now, if you look at it upside down, it'd be like a man upside down. Here's the face going that way and head underwater with the bust, okay? I just want to show you that. Because why? You guys think about the image of how Prince was always portrayed, like at the end of Purple Rain or whatever, when he turned around and always was looking at the camera. It was always that bust shot. You know what I'm saying? So even back in my early 2020 days there, when I was writing that, I made this map, or he helped me to draw this map. And this has a point. I drew this map of Orion, the constellation Orion. I know the lighting's bad. Here's the bust, what would be the bust, and then this is the head, and then the 3 stars, which are the belt of Orion, and the big stars, etc. I drew that in that trancy place that I was in. But what is this, my point, you guys? With this, the Orion and the map of Maui, they both relate to each other, because when I was in Maui and I was meditating, the constellation Orion, it's like, think about the song, The Arms of Orion, that's where I want to be. That song, because that is like the source of, I'm not exactly sure how like creation started there, or is there, or burst out from there, or is trying to be controlled there. I'm not sure. I have the feeling, from what I recall being told, there was a bunch of alchemy and some things that were going on with Maui being a naval base, and the way that they changed things with holograms, and the way that World War II Pearl Harbor went down there, that they, I don't know, film and layer and visualize these things for a future war, the way that they depict holograms and things. My life after life experience, I was like taken up above everything and shown things in a way that I looked down on everything. And that's what he showed me, was how the world is like layered, and a bunch of just, I don't know, like watching an old school movie flick by real quick, like that, maybe, sort of. So when they did these things, they were all planned. It's not like they didn't happen, but the fear and time snafus that were created by doing them allowed them to do them in the future. And as I've been told, again, the thing that also the beginning, in Hebrew, I just watched my Raptor video today, and he said that the first place of creation is called Asiya. It's A with a hyphen, S-I-A, or something like that. Forgive me if I say it wrong. So that also spells Asia in the other kind of writing. So if you guys think that there's like a whole country out there that's going to let the world sit back and accuse them of creating this virus in Wuhan, which I have explained before, in upside down gematria is woman, because this is the other thing that I was told that's super trippy, you guys. It's really hard for me to say. One moment, please. Coffee will help. I have to do that. Maybe one day I won't. At least I haven't dribbled on myself. Listen, this is super duper hard for me. The 4-3-1 pi equation is also, well, let me try that again. You know how I said that like Prince knew they were coming for him because he could see it. It's like he knew everything. He's the creator, but he had to lend this intellect to them for a time so that he could sing this story to us by way of music, by way of the prophets. It's why they always say that the angels are singing, that they're singing, because in that aspect, I saw that the other souls that were there in some way were trapped or something. It was like they were singers, but they couldn't sing or something. And so again, you guys, because I don't know how. I really don't know how. I offered my soul. Like, he told me that our world was going to be broke down, that it was broke down, that it was like Chernobyl up in the, like when we went up above the world and looked down, it was like the world was already wrecked, like Chernobyl, like everything was just wrecked. And what he told me was that by their way of timekeeping, that they were going to cheat in this way, that he had to tell me these things, because if I would have woke up in the spring of 2020 and started hearing these things without him forewarning me, that I would have damn lost my mind and maybe like offed myself or something, because the stuff I hear is pretty intense. But the reason it's not so intense for me is because I remember it from that experience. I am not coming here to make this intense mathematical tree of life equation, tree of knowledge and everything. I don't make it all up. So when I was there that day, I think what he told me is that because my spirit, my soul, who I am on the inside that you guys can't see, that I'm begging to earn your trust. He told me that when something happened to him, he was going to have to allow himself to be killed in a way. And that wasn't, I don't think, done on 4/21/2016 at all. He's telling me no. It was done on 4/30/21. It was done this year in Meron, Israel. There was like I talked about it in the other videos. I don't want to talk about it too much, but there was like they called it a stampede of some sort, where people were reveling and dancing. Go look it up. It's in Meron, Israel. And is it a coincidence that the name Meron is also a Hebrew word that means like the highest level or something like that, to one of the to highest? Again, I'm just telling you what I know. You have to look up what I'm saying if you don't believe me, because it's all true. So all the names used in the file and everything relate back to the Hebrew and everything that I'm trying to teach too. But you guys, anyway, he allowed his worldly soul, the way I understand it, personage, to be in some way, either in my mind, it was done on 4/30/21 of this year, or it was like a real physical thing, because I did other videos on it too, but I didn't post them. It makes me sad to talk about. But it's like in the song Possessed, did you ever have the feeling that someone was thinking about chopping you up to little bitty pieces and selling you for a jigsaw puzzle? Because he's the creator, there's these other entities in the world that would like to consume him or have him or be him. They might have expressed some cannibalistic tendencies and things like that during this thing that they did on 4/30. But 4/30/21, that's when I made those other videos about burning the t-shirts and everything. It's the one where I said, why did I burn the Prince t-shirts? Please go and watch that if you didn't. It'll explain more about what I'm saying. See, because even this whole experience started in the spring of 2020. I was contacted in a certain way by the one. and we were talking. And I was also talking to some other entities and doing some pretty strange things from 2020 to 2021. Things that I wouldn't have normally done, but because of other things that were going on in my life, I did a lot of strange things. And I also get the notion that some of those things might come back to bite me, as they say. But if they do, it's all good. Because as I said, as I stood before my Creator, and I will say now, I got nothing to hide. I am loving, I am truthful, I am honest. I am here to show you your way to the Creator, to show you your way out of the BS that surrounds us in this world. But I'm hearing that, like, I might be called a witch. I might be called blasphemous. I might be called Jezebel. I might be called a lot of things. But guess what? I don't care. Because I know me, know thyself. Anyway, it's like, it's like I always say, I get go and laugh. If those so-called movie stars were going to worry about everything that people said about them, they wouldn't live very much of a life. So stop worrying about what people say when you ain't going to stop them anyway. I was told that when these people tried to harm him, or he allowed himself to be harmed in a certain way, the way I understand it, they thought that they were going to achieve possession of his soul. Think the One Night Alone CD, you guys. I don't want to get too deep on that, but what he told me is that these people that were wanting to do him harm wanted to possess his soul. However, when they did succeed in harming him, as when you try to play P, you play yourself, he had an escape route, and that escape route was and is with his soul sanctuary. I don't know exactly how he resides with me, but he does. And I can hear from him telepathically. He tells me these things, and maybe someday I'll get brave enough to show you guys that I have these really, I don't really know how to say it, but like my 3 daughters, one gave birth in June and the other 2 are due December 2nd and the other one in January. And then I will have 9 grandchildren. My body is experiencing like every effect of pregnancy as if I were pregnant. It's been very strange. My tight pants don't look as good anymore, but that's cool because this is worth anything and everything in the world. Inside joke. Anyway, he told me his soul was going to come reside with me because I offered it, because I said I would tell the truth. When I was in the heavenly places and the angels were mad because he was going to be giving me this truth, they were like, why are you going to give it to a human? And I said, well, because the humans need it the most. You guys are like angel people. Why do you need it? What are you going to do with it? And I promised that when I remembered this information, my way of telepathy and hearing from the sky people and the Creator or whatever it is that I'm experiencing, it's freaking real. And I have, this 53 minutes. I want to share a couple other things with you that I wrote before I go, because it's kind of wacky and off the wall already. It doesn't really have a here or there flow today. It's because it's pretty deep, you guys. I don't know how else to say it other than the way that I do. It is what it is, and you have to watch all the videos to understand. This is something I wrote. I want to share. Hopefully you won't get bored. You'll like it. I think it's pretty cool. I was thinking of the song Born in the USA because this plan is going to affect the whole world as humanity, and you have to know who your Creator is, who your soul is, and where you're willing to go, and where you're not willing to go, and if you're willing to take the RFID chip or not. So this I wrote. I was singing Born in the USA, born in a psychops, hey, born in a psychops, hey. That's what I said. I understand some night, I'll try to go slow. I understand some might not like to hear, but it's true. Especially now, especially in America. Land of the free? Nope. Home of the brave? Yes. We have to be brave, each of us, especially in this life we live now. We have been bamboozled, hoodwinked, and took. born into a controlled tyranny without walls that we can see anyway. What if the digital haze is so thick that the blind have been leading the blind? The system we all find ourselves in, it doesn't honor love, life, family, free and fair unbiased information or knowledge. Instead, honoring short-term fixes and whatever feels good because YOLO. No. You actually live more than once. You will be reincarnated and you are responsible for your soul's correction. It's like the show Something About Earl, or My Name is Earl. You have to fix what you did wrong. Not because you'd be punished like that, but because the more you can correct, the more you can elevate. So think about it that way. Be floating up and being shiny, the more you can correct. Okay. The Bible states that the key to knowledge was taken away. My goal in life, even before I knew it, had a biblical foundation. I had to figure out why. I'm actually happy to say that on July 10th, I talk about dying. Skip that. The key to knowledge, I was given the key to knowledge, or at least some of it, has been made available to me. I am delighted, humbled, and honored to be sitting here sharing it with you in order to bless the name of Hashem, the one true creator who has never actually been fully honored by humans. That's very sad, and we need to come together to fix it. He is going to show us his true glory through us honoring him and recognizing him. He made us and everything in the world, yet the place in which we live is asking us to deny our very DNA and thereby our creator. The life each soul experiences on earth is not an easy one. There is much chaos and confusion. It amazes me that the people are content to live this way, though I am not blaming or condemning them. To me, our universe always seems so controlled, and most people just don't realize they're being controlled because they have been sold on freedom, the 1776, the numbers, the gematria. Then the sales pitch, freedom isn't free. The U.S. is especially guilty when it comes to allowing themselves to exist in this state of confusion. Not guilty, rather dazed and confused. This allows for a negative frequency and allows for mutations amongst God's given genetics, DNA. Think for a moment. When you have an infant, everything that you upload into that child makes that child a great deal of who he is, given the nature versus nurture. We as people, humans, we too have a creator, and he is our parent, creator. If you don't believe he created us in a grand design, I said, well, please keep reading. Maybe you'll come to feel differently after tasting the truth. It delights the palate rather than simply regurgitating the lies. From the womb to the tomb, you and I are brought up in a designed American system. A design. Do you ever ask yourself whose design? We definitely live in a world where TV and the media in general, quick fix, barely there propaganda. Moses and Pharaoh's necromancers threw down their staffs and they became snakes. You think we don't live in a world where such things are done on a much grander scale? Think Las Vegas shows, concerts, Times Square, Game of Thrones, cinema, hermetically sealed sets, alchemy. We've been programmed to respond subliminally to everything we see. That makes advertising the lucrative game of minds it has always been. Commercials, food, water, intrigue, actors, athletes, the deaf, Kardashian selfies, it all seems so real, but none of it's real. Your soul is the only thing that's real in this world. And that's why you need to connect to that. You need to turn all that other stuff off and focus on your souls and your family's souls and your children's soul and what you're going to do when faced with these issues that are very real, very real. The ultimate tyranny is not being controlled by martial law, for that is physical, rather by psychological manipulation of the conscious mind through which that reality is defined. It is so perfectly designed that those that exist within it do not realize they are in it. Matrix. If we work together, we can make sure our new souls are in a funky design. A design where every soul gets to be who they are meant to be. Free from oppression and shame from yourself and others. No judgment because we are all one, yet individual. It's just that the soul will be redeemed with all the knowledge they need to be their complete self because humankind will be resolved and corrected. That's where we'll garden together and trade and share and, watch each other's kids and help and love and have real food and, all that stuff. So, those are just a few things that I wrote that that's how I want to see the world. I was told after my life after life experience that I was, again, I don't know how, but I am connected to the one the world knows as Prince Rogers Nelson, the one I'm trying to teach you that is the creator. And I know that a lot of people will be like, that is a heavy duty statement to make because this chick is like calling herself like God or something. No, that's not what this chick is doing. Because I wouldn't say that. But I do have a job to do. And if, like, I'm not calling myself anything, I'm nobody. My soul is in this shell, and my soul offered my soul to the creator a long time ago, before the beginning of time, and also when I met him again in 2010, and every day of my life, and in the morning when I wake up, and at night, and all day long. It's not like some weird freaky deaky kind of thing, you guys. Again, I say with the information and the gematria and the Hebrew stuff that I've shared with you will help you to know that I'm not just some silly girl that comes here to sit and talk about Prince. I'm not. I'm trying to get a message across that's really trippy and really deep, because I don't know. I can't get over the fact that the way that the world is working to seduce us into being separated from our own creator, the mask wearing, all that stuff, I can't go too deep on the politics and stuff. I don't want to get my channel cut, but please, please, please go back and research some of these things yourself. I know I've showed you guys before, but all of this stuff that I do back here, all of these individual things, they're full of information and stuff that I've been doing over the last year and a half now. The investigation file, there's Hebrew, there's all kinds of writings. These writings that I was just sharing with you, I have tried so many ways, which, I think I might see if you guys are interested in hearing some of these letters that I wrote. They have some really deep knowledge in them, and I think that you'll enjoy them, because if somebody like me was sharing the information with me, I know I would dig it. I'm so excited. Let me say before I go, I found my very first Kabbalistic Tree of Life drawing here. And it made me feel like I had some kind of like old ancient scroll or something. I'm trying to take really good care of all this stuff because I know it's going to be really important. I'm just really excited. And if you guys haven't looked up what I'm talking about, or you're not familiar, go look up the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. It's how the creator emanates down to where we are at our level through different qualities of his being. And then we had the pleasure of having him here in this same lifetime. And he gave that to us as the greatest gift we could ever have, because that way, when this other thing is, if it takes place or whatever, they really do try to do this Antichrist alien type situation, that we'll know ahead of time, you guys. And that's why I'm here. Whether it happens in my lifetime or this next lifetime, I'm still going to do my job by being here. But with the numerics and the gematria, I do hear that it, New Year's Eve, by this New Year's Eve. So, like I said, I try to stay away from laying out times. I've done it before and I've been wrong, and I could be wrong again, and I'm still going to keep going. So, you guys, please, please look at the mathematics. There can't be that many coincidences in the world. You guys know it, and I know it. I know it, and you guys know it. That's what I mean. Creator told me to tell you, and I love you very much. Yes, strangers too. I mean it, because you're souls, and when I was there in the heavenly places, I said, I'll stand up for them. I'll tell them. That's why I'm here telling you. It's my duty. It's my joy. And you guys pray to him. He's your best friend. He wants to hear from you. The leaders and people out there right now, they're false leaders. They're false. It's KKK, NWO, master plan stuff. Stay away from them. As far away from them as you can. Look inside. Look deep inside. Hold your babies close and read to them and figure out what your life plan is going to be. And also, if I might say this, I don't know if I should or I'm not. If you have liquid assets, take them now. Like, I'm not trying to cause chaos and confusion, but like, don't let Big brother, take your things, because I hear that there is no real money. And if you think you have some out there, you might want to get your hands on them. Just saying. I want to end with something positive, but I say what I hear. Thank you, you guys. Please share the videos. It's super important. Okay. Thank you.